in a non-nerd view. So a lot of times people are asking me like, what percentage or what shades are there? All right. Welcome back to the Chicago Auto Pros podcast here, where we answer some of your questions. Today we are going to be talking about window tint and why to get it, and just a lot of other questions around it. So why don't we start off with the first question here is, what kind of window tint do we do here at Chicago Auto Pros?
The best window tint. No, I'm just kidding.
We offer.
I'm not kidding, but
we offer window tint from Expel.
oh, sorry.
We do the Prime series, so that includes Prime CS, which is our dyed film. Then we got Prime XR, which is a single layer ceramic tint, and then we have Prime XR Plus, our dual layer ceramic tint. We offer all three here at Chicago Auto Pros.
And what is kind of the differences between all three of those?
So the three different kinds. There's a standard dye film, which is the Expo CS, and then there's the Expo XR, which is like a single layer ceramic film, which moderate heat rejection, moderate UV ray protection, and then the XR Plus, which is dual layer ceramics, so the best heat rejection, best UV ray protection.
Very good. And what's the difference? Like, is it worth doing the XR Plus over the XR?
Heat rejection wise, yeah, definitely. Both our lobbies, well, right now your lobby has a heat lamp that kind of demonstrates how much heat rejection it actually offers. And yeah, it is a noticeable difference for sure.
Even from the single to the dual layer, it is.
Yeah.
It's like about a 10% difference in heat rejection.
On paper, it's 10%.
Right.
Physically, it feels like 40%.
Yeah.
That's facts.
Yeah.
That's true.
What do you guys have on your cars?
I have
What kind of tint guy are you?
I have single layer ceramic on everything. On the sides, the back, the windshield, the sunroof. All
So why
single
did
layer
you
ceramic.
decide to go single layer rather than the dual layer?
Truthfully, I think it was based on what extra film we had here at the shop. To be honest, I think it was an extra roll that we had.
Yeah.
It might have been some leftover film, but there is dual layer is better if you're worried about heat rejection, for sure.
And I just wanted to kind of paint a picture for a lot of people too, is like, just because we work here doesn't mean it's not expensive for us to do as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's part of it
You
too.
know,
for
it's
sure.
still expensive for us to do, even though we work here.
Mm-hmm.
The roll of film is expensive.
Yeah.
It definitely is. And for me, at least, I did the single layer for that main exact reason, because even though I worked here, it was still expensive for me to do.
Yeah. Yep.
But then I bought the 4Runner. I'm like, this is an expensive car.
Yeah.
I better keep this car. So if I am, I'm going to do the dual layer.
Yep.
Fair.
And when I did it the first summer that we actually got some heat, I just kicked myself in the ass.
Yeah.
I was like, I should have just done this from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely noticeable. Even with the single layer one, on one of my trucks, I went with the single layer one because the XR, because it's a single cab, so it's just a bench seat, and it's gonna get hot no matter what you do. It's all windows basically. There's nowhere to hide. So I went with the single layer on that one. But then on my other one is an extended cab. That one's got the dual layer all around sides rear windshield, and it's even those two trucks. Granted, it's a different shape. It's a night and day difference when you just park them out in the sun.
I actually have to replace my windshield soon. I got some chips, and that one has single layer ceramic on it. We're going to replace the glass, and I'm going to do a dual layer.
It's going to change your life.
I believe that if you do dual layer specifically on your windshield, that's going to block the most heat and lower the temperature in the car.
Yep.
Mostly.
It's the biggest piece of glass in the car.
Exactly,
So that's my winter project.
We got windshield protection film coming soon.
Oh yeah.
This is a fact.
Yeah.
We weren't supposed
Maybe
to
I'll
leak
do
that.
Maybe I'll do both.
Edit that out.
Cut that.
So why don't we get into, and this is just us we are not giving legal advice, but how dark can people do their windows in the state of Illinois?
So it depends. I mean, Dom could roll into it.
Yeah, sedans 35 sides and rear. SUVs, it is 50 or 55.
Yep.
Two fronts, and then you can go as dark as you want in the back.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and then the windshield, you're legally not supposed to have anything on there.
Correct.
You can have the sun strip, and if you pay attention to all the windshields, you'll see that there's a little line in the corner that says AS1.
Mm-hmm.
That's technically the lowest you can go with it.
And you can go dark as you want with that.
Correct.
As long as you stay above AS1.
Correct.
That's right.
Now, with that out of the way, we can kind of talk about what we have,
Sure. You go first.
which is definitely not legal.
Yeah.
None of us, I don't think.
So for the 4Runner, I have 15 on all the sides and rear, and then I have 35 on my windshield. And then I also have a 5% strip over the windshield.
Mhm.
It is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Did you do 15 over the rears, or
Yes.
did you make the rears read at 15?
Oh, no, I made the rears read at like a 13. So I put 55 on the rears, and then I did 15 on the two fronts.
Because that, as you know, is
Yep.
a big difference.
And
Yeah.
then the windshield, I started with 55, and I did 55 for many years. And then I don't know what made me bite the bullet, but I did, and I can't go back from 35.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's facts.
From a science perspective, because I don't think a lot of our customers know this. Like the difference between 55 and 35 is like different than 35 to 10, or what would that be? 35 to 5. It's
Yeah.
like it's a logarithmic. Like your eyes don't see like
Don't
linear
use
change.
logarithmic, dude.
Your
the
eyes
way your
don't-
eyes
You
perceive
nerd.
it. Yeah, I see. I know
Your
what you're
eyes
getting
don't
at.
see
I
like
think I know
linear
what you're
change.
getting at.
It takes more of something for your senses to notice it. So
I
like,
understand what you're getting at.
You got to realize who you're talking to here.
Yeah,
You
so
can't
like
be dropping logarithmic here on
So
me.
eight-
We're
80
car guys, all right? We're
Yeah,
not rocket
that's-
scientists.
We have
Exactly.
window tint on our cars. That's
I don't
it.
have my lab coat on yet.
but that's why I'm saying, because I remember there was one customer here that was like, why is it so spaced out when you go from like 50 to 80, but then like it gets closer and closer together? It's because you can tell the difference between like 10, 7, and 5, right? Or we have like 10, 8, and 5 or something like that
We
versus
have
like
5, 15, 20.
Yeah.
yeah,
there's
so
those.
it gets closer together
Yeah.
versus like
Then it jumps
like 50 and then all the way up to
to
80.
70. Yeah.
So I have a way of explaining that to people that way, but more of a in a normal world view,
Dom LaPasso
Non-nerd.
down.
in a non-nerd view. So a lot of times people are asking me like, what percentage or what shades are there? And we go as light as 80 and as dark as 5.
Mhm.
For the person, I tell them is, hey, light is light. So 55 and up is going to be light.
Mhm.
Light is light, right? It's light. And then dark is dark.
Yeah.
Right. So anything like 15 and below is going to be dark.
Really dark. Yeah.
So that's kind of, that puts you in the middle ground of like, hey, 35 is what's legal in Illinois or as dark as you can go, right? As long as your car did not come tinted from the factory.
Right.
And most SUVs and trucks do have the rear windows tinted already,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
right? So in the special case that it's not, which is rare, then you can do 35% evenly all the way around. 35 is like a good middle ground. Anything lighter than that is pretty light, right?
Yeah.
And the next step up is the 55.
It's a big jump.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, it's very personal preference wise on what
It
people
is.
want, because what's dark to someone else is super light to me.
Yeah.
Based off what you said you got on the 4Runner. What do you have on the GR?
On the GR, I
Similar?
also have on the GR I did 20 on the sides and rear, and then the same thing with the windshield, 35 with the 5% strip.
Nice. Nice. I had my previous car was a 9th gen Civic Si 2-door. I had 20% on the sides and the back, and then I did 55 on the windshield with a sun strip. And just like you, it wasn't enough. It was like just too bright. in the car.
55 was great,
Yeah.
but I didn't experience 35 yet.
See, that's it.
And then when I experienced it,
I got my Accord now, and I did 15 on my sides and my back, and just 35 on my windshield. I'll never get another
you can't.
percentage
Yeah.
tint. Once you go 35 on the windshield, you're
There's a stigma
in the
that
dark zone.
Yeah.
you look like a drug dealer or a rapper.
There is that out there.
But-
That is.
It's just really nice. Like when I sometimes forget my sunglasses hopping
Yeah.
into my car.
You don't really
you don't
necessarily
need it.
need them. Even on a bright summer day in Chicagoland, I can get in my car and I'm
But even
okay
then, on a
with
bright
no
sunny
sunglasses.
day, like the windshield isn't that dark. If the sun
not.
is beaming directly on the windshield there, it
Yeah.
just looks like a normal windshield.
What I tell
Yeah.
people too My car looks dark from the outside, but when you get in my car, because it's all ceramic, you could see out fine.
Yeah.
Even at night.
The clarity of it. And that's a myth that I want to
I was thinking about
kind of
that
talk
too,
about
yeah.
that now. It came up this year. I don't know where it came from. Maybe from the Tic Tac.
What you see on there is not, it's not true.
There's this
accurate.
stigma out
Yeah.
there, or this myth, that you can go as dark as you want with a ceramic tint, but from the inside looking out, it looks like daylight.
I've seen that.
On video, it looks like that. In person, it does not look like that.
And what I
wouldn't
want to tell,
consider it daylight.
and
Yeah.
what I want to tell people, or clarify at least, is that when people are talking about like it looks clear, they're talking about the clarity of the film.
Mm-hmm.
So the example that I use is, let's take a pair of gas station sunglasses,
Yep.
and then you buy a pair of Oakleys.
Right.
When you're looking through the pair of Oakleys, you can tell that or Pit Vipers,
Or pit vipers.
that the lens quality and the clarity that you see through those lenses is super clear.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's almost HD.
Like polarized. in a
Exactly.
sense. Yep.
Versus the gas station sunglasses, it's just dark.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
You can tell that the quality of the lens is not as clear
Yeah.
Right.
looking through it.
That's right.
And that's what I want to kind of put out there, is like a lot of people think that it's almost like a two-way mirror glass is what
Yeah.
people are thinking.
Right.
I'm like, no, it doesn't
That's a
work
myth.
that way.
That's
If
a
you're
myth.
going
That's a-
dark, it's going to be dark.
Dark is dark,
5%
like I
is
said.
5%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark
Yep.
is dark. It'll be a clear dark, but
Yeah.
dark is dark.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
But like you said, based on what you're saying, like if you do, let's say you do 20% or 15 or 5 here, and then you go to a mom and pop shop that does it for the third of the price, it's not going to be the same.
It
They're
depends
using a
on
much
what. Yeah,
different film.
it depends on what they're using.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
And like I said, you guys can do the research too. All the viewers out there,
Yep.
like we're not the only shops doing the Expo film,
it. No, there's
but we are one of the best shops with the best quality install out there.
we
Yeah.
have some awesome installers, both
Yes.
Glenview and Lombard.
Absolutely.
And that goes back to my point of it depends on who's doing the work rather than what they're doing it with.
Yes.
And prep. And
Prep.
cleaning the glass and all the things that the
Ben Hard,
Remington guys do.
number one in the world, dude.
Yeah, there's a reason. Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
All right. So the other kind of questions that we have, we kind of talked about percentages and how dark you can go in Illinois, but a question that comes up a lot too is can I roll down the windows as soon as it's done?
No. 3 days before you roll them down.
It's what's recommended
Yeah.
for sure. We do have a service that we can kind of speed up the process. It's up to you if you think it's worth it, right? If you really need to go through that drive-through, yeah, hey, I'll do the roll down service for you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't, hey, just wait the 3 days.
Yeah.
You know,
it's-
Just let the film heal its 3 days.
That's what Ben, our installer in Glenview, always says. Like, it's not great for the film to try and
because
Heat
you're
it up.
overheat. Yeah, you're
exactly.
overheating it.
You're heating the crap out
You're
of
not
it.
trying to, or you're trying to make it do something that's not intended to do.
Yeah.
So.
We offer it if you want it. Just know that we have to heat the film a little bit more than what it wants to be heated up
To
as.
be honest, at Lombard, I don't even bring it up.
Yeah.
I make it a
same.
thing to not roll your windows down for
Yeah.
3 days. I want the film to heal correctly so you can get lifetime warranty and not have any issues.
Exactly. And that answers the next question is, yeah, all our films, they have a lifetime warranty.
Mhm.
Whether you go with the basic film or the top-of-the-line film,
That's correct.
it's a
Fading.
lifetime manufacturer warranty.
Yep. Fading, peeling, bubbling, discoloration.
And if you are a listener from the South or West Coast, I know you've seen cars where the back of their windshields look like they have a disease.
Mhm.
And that disease is bubbles
Yep.
or purple.
Yeah.
You definitely see that a lot.
Or how about the
what-
peeling? The peeling is tough.
Well,
You
this
see,
is
like,
this
deep
is what
peeling.
happens when you go to Facebook Marketplace for your window tint.
Yep.
Exactly.
The hazing is so bad.
That's bad too. For me, it's the bubbling and the peeling, like real bad peeling.
Yeah.
It's just a bigger mess. Like my mom went to someone off Facebook Marketplace. She's like, "Look, I got my tint done for $100." I'm like,
You're
dude, like
yeah.
$100 more bucks, you would have gotten it done right.
Yeah, it's a
the-
fact.
And then
Yep.
it was a big mess to get all that shit off.
It's the removal. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where you pay. Yep.
And there's another stigma too out there. Like I keep going back to it, but there's other shops out there. We're not the only ones,
Of course.
but we are the ones that will trump quality over quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like we don't do that many cars a day
No, what would you
compared
say?
to a lot of other shops.
Three?
We really
Four?
don't.
4 or 5,
3, 4, 5,
maybe,
3, 4, 5.
depending on the car.
Like
Yeah.
we take our time to make sure it's done right.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, we would absolutely love to do a lot more,
Sure.
but is that going to sacrifice like our flow and our quality?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The simple fact of it is, with everything we do, it's you get what you pay for. It's
it.
done, and it's done right every
Yep.
single time.
Because so Dan, you and I didn't really get to work a lot together with,
That's no.
and Dom you like saw how I was with the guys,
Yeah.
right? It was just like, no, that looks like shit. Take it off. Do it again.
Mhm.
You know, and sometimes you have to be that way
Mm-hmm.
because the customers are relying on us to make sure that their cars are done right.
Yep.
Our installers here at Lombard, I'm sure Glenview is the similar thing, but if they see even a small imperfection, they redo the whole window.
Yep.
That's the kind of work that we put out here at Chicago Auto Pros. That's what you're paying for.
My best memory is if you've ever been to the Glenview shop, the tint room used to be connected to the main lobby. And my favorite memory is you'll hear the tinters. They like their music, right? So they'll bump and they'll work. But the best memory is you hear a piece of film being ripped out of a windshield,
Yeah.
and then a bunch of cuss words, and then
Mhm.
you hear the film being crumpled and thrown.
Mm-hmm.
And that tells me, all right, it's going to be another couple hours because he didn't like the way it turned out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Right. So that's what we'd call the customer, like, hey, it's taking a little bit longer than expected, but it's going to be done right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. We could have just left it there. And there's a big industry thing of like, I think it's like the 3% rule,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like if there's 3 clusters of dust in a certain area, like it's passable. For these guys, no.
Yes, it's 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, 0%.
The goal is 0 every single time.
Yep.
Our guys have issues. They're just perfectionists.
Yeah, see, that's it. Goes back to that.
And that too, like, we're supposed to get cars in and out.
We
Like
are.
that's how a business makes money, right? But we a lot of times will sacrifice that to make sure it's done the right way.
Mhm.
True.
Yep.
So as far as the next question goes, like, can we perfectly match the front windows to the back?
Usually not. If you have the eye like we have, where it's a little bit of insanity, it's always going to look a little bit lighter in the front, just because the windshield's right there.
Right.
I think you've probably noticed that. I've definitely
course.
noticed it with the trucks that I've owned. It's always going to look a little bit lighter. What's on the back windows of like SUVs and trucks isn't actually a film.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
It's a dye.
a dyed
Yep.
piece of glass. So there's nothing you can do to change the color of that besides put like how you said you have 55 on your backs to make it like 13. There's nothing you can do to really change the look of that. So when you put, say they read 20% and you put a 20 on the front, it's going to read a little bit different. It's hard to get exactly perfect, but I mean, we can get
There's
pretty
a
damn
threshold.
close.
Yeah, there's definitely a
That's it.
threshold.
Does the dye on the back have any heat rejection? Like,
No.
Nope.
so
No.
it's the same as like dyed like CS.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's built
Just
into the
imagine-
glass.
Imagine food coloring in a syringe, and then you put that syringe in between 2 pieces of glass.
Yeah.
And you shoot it in there. And it dyes it.
That's what it is.
That's the science for you.
But when people do want a front 2 match, we come as close as you can.
I usually tell people it's either going to read closer to 15 or
Real
closer
close.
to 20.
Depends on the vehicle. All back windows read different percentages, but we have the tools here to get it as close as we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever it reads closest to, that's what you'll put on the front.
But yeah, if you want to look as cohesive as possible, I'd recommend tinting the whole car.
Now, if you want to
Then we
get
can
down
kinda-
and dirty with this question, can you perfectly match the front windows? I don't know if you guys have dealt with it, but I had a nightmare of a situation with it where it's a Volkswagen window
Okay.
and they're kind of green.
I was going to bring this up. Yeah.
So
cheap glass, dude.
that was a nightmare to deal with because that, like, me getting into it and not knowing, I was still fresh, I was still young,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "What are you talking about? It does match. It read 20%, 20%, 20%."
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't understanding that the customer was talking about the hue of the window, the
Yeah.
Color of the glass. Yeah.
So after, back and forth, going back and forth, I find out that I had to order a custom roll with that green hue to match just for the Volkswagen.
See what this guy does?
I think that was the only time I ever really had to deal with it. But obviously, that whole year, I had to order an entire roll.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And an entire roll just for one car is like, all right, well, let's get some more
Overkill.
Let's get some more Volkswagens in here.
Now that you bring that up, to me, I've noticed new Toyotas have like a yellowish,
Yeah,
like
the
orangish,
4Runner.
brownish. You know what I'm
The
talking
4Runner
about?
has it. So even with the Expo on the back windows, I can tell, like if I'm checking my blind spot, you can tell that there's a different shade, and I just don't think there's anything you can do with that.
From
Yeah.
the outside, it looks good.
Yeah.
If you're sitting in your driver's seat and you turn around and look at the back windows, it'll be a little bit different of a hue. But it's
Yeah.
only certain manufacturers.
So I think all the Japanese cars, or at least the cars that come from Japan with the VIN from Japan, will have that because the GR is kind of the similar way, where the windows are a little brownish.
Yeah, I think it's just like a Japan
But
thing. Yep.
the darker you go, the less you notice it.
That's it.
Yeah, it's I never noticed it because I just do.
Yeah,
five
the
all
darker
around.
you go,
Well, yeah,
the less you
5.
notice it.
5?
Yeah.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah,
He's
a
most
truck
of the-
guy.
To be
Five,
honest.
5 over the backs, 5 2 fronts, 35 windshield.
He's
Most
a
of the
truck guy,
guys,
dude.
most of the guys
Should've
that
seen
work at
my old
Chicago
one,
Auto
dude.
Pros have real dark tint.
That
I
one,
got 10 on the sides. I can't imagine 5.
it's not that bad. That
Andy,
one in you saw that truck I got down in Texas.
Yeah,
Texas
15,
is a
15 on the
difference.
windshield.
15 on the
15
windshield.
on the
Crazy.
windshield.
That's crazy.
5 over.
The tint
20.
guys have the dark ones.
I was gonna say Andy.
Ruben, dude.
Andy has 5% all the way around and 20 on the windshield on his Subaru Legacy. It's dark,
Oh my god.
dark. But yeah, Ruben's got 5 all the way around on the even on his V.
Yeah.
There's 5 all the way around, and then I think 30 on the windshield.
So
Dark.
that kind of leads into the next question of like, do people typically tint the windshield? I think we just answered it for you guys. Like,
Yeah.
people do it all the time. It depends on what you're doing it for. So us in this room, not only do we do it for the aesthetics, but we also do it for the heat blocking.
Yeah.
So we do offer that 80% or 70. I recommend 70,
Yeah.
just because the 80 has kind of a slight blue hue to it.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're seeing, that blue is just the ceramic material,
Yeah.
right? It's just kind of blue. That's just what it is.
Yeah. When you go that light, you're gonna notice the hue more. The blue hue or maybe a green hue, depending on.
And some people
which one
like
you
it.
go with, but
But from what we found, a lot of people just don't like it.
yeah.
It's all situational, like what you're getting the tint for. If
Yeah.
you're worried about heat rejection, you should definitely get dual layer ceramic on the windshield.
Yeah, you
That's-
do the
that's-
70%, it looks the most natural.
Yeah.
It just looks like what it looks like now without it.
Yeah.
If you're worried about law enforcement, like nobody's going to see it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just there for blocking the UV and IR.
Reverting back to that match question you had, we loan or we lease a Model Y, and we did match front 2 to the back, and then we did 70 on the windshield, and that it matches pretty good. It's
Yeah.
real close, but it's because there's also tint on the windshield, which lowers the light in the front 2.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people too. That's a conversation I have. If you ever want to get down and dirty, or a customer like gets down and dirty
Right.
of that, you can tell I'm kind of traumatized from that Volkswagen experience.
Yeah, there
But
you go. Yeah.
I'll ask them like, do you want it to aesthetically match or do you want it to numerically match?
Yeah.
Because there's a difference.
Yeah,
If you want it to numerically match, no problem. I'll put 20%. Call
that's
it a
down
day.
and dirty.
Yeah.
But if you want it to where you're standing at the side of it and you want it to look even,
Yeah.
you got to consider doing the front windshield too.
Yeah.
Whenever we do a front 2 match, I tell the customer right off the jump too. I'm like, we'll do our best. We'll put the numbers that match, but if you don't do the windshield, it's still going to be a little lighter,
Yeah.
aesthetically looking.
And it's just
That's
that's
the
just
way it is.
nature.
Yeah, that's just light coming through the windshield.
Yeah, and sometimes they'll like lean towards the darker side. So like if your backs read like 18%, and we put a 20 on, it reads like, or say it reads like 15 in the back, and then 20 on the front reads like 18. If we put a 15 on the front, it reads like 12,
Right.
and that looks closer to
It'll
the match.
even out.
Sure.
Yeah.
That will, yeah.
It'll
because
even
the
out.
windshield's right there.
That's why our tin installers know what to do.
Exactly.
With
yeah.
what car?
So they'll lean a little bit towards the darker side. Like if it's a couple percentage darker on the front, they lean towards that rather than being a couple percent lighter.
Which
kinda
is why
make
a
a
lot of the
windshield.
times on the work order, it's just matched the two fronts.
Exactly.
leave it up
you
to
tell
them.
me what
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
matches. Yeah.
So you're saying they kind of round down
Exactly.
mostly. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think BMWs have like closer to 15 on the back.
Yeah,
Than,
they read pretty dark. Like X5
yeah,
reads dark.
yeah.
Teslas too.
Model
Yeah.
X,
The Model X.
that
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
reads dark.
Yeah, it depends. But then you get some that read 22 in the back. And,
Like a Model Y. That
Yeah.
one's lighter.
So
Yeah.
we're
22,
we're kind
25.
of talking about like the different window tint that we do
Mm-hmm.
and the configurations we go with. How is it living with it? Like, does law enforcement ever get enforced for you guys?
I've never had an issue going back to that truck. We didn't actually do this truck. I just bought it with it down in Texas. I drove it from outside of, not Houston, outside of Dallas. It was Cato Mills is where it was. All the way here. And I got pulled over just south of Springfield. And it was a state trooper. And he didn't say a word about the window tint. That was really freaking dark. He just said, "You don't have a plate on this thing." I was like, "Yeah, here. I
Fair.
just bought it. I'm literally 3 hours from home. Like I've been driving for 12. Like
Yeah.
just trying to get home." He's like, "Yeah, no, you're good. Just go straight home." But
So
he
far-
didn't say a word about it.
I think it just kind of depends on like what kind of car you're driving and what you're doing while you're driving. I
Yeah.
think if you're flying down the highway, you're going 30, 40 over the speed limit, and you have dark windows, you may get multiple tickets.
Yeah.
I
But
think it
me-
really depends on how your behavior is on the road.
With
Yeah.
me, like with mine's just a subtle lowered Honda Accord. It's not causing any trouble. It's not loud. It's stock exhaust. Yes, I got dark tint, but I've had it on there for almost 2 years now. I've had sheriffs right next to me, right behind me.
Mm-hmm.
They don't bother me.
But you also have the state sheriff license
I
plate
got a
on
little.
there.
I got a little bit of a.
I know you donate a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little
You're
hidden
buying some
trick.
pockets there.
There's a hidden trick to it, but again, it's what kind of car it is and what you're doing while you're driving. I think if you're driving recklessly, then you're kind of asking for the cop to add tickets to your.
And
To your ticket.
to make people feel better, at least, I'm not going to put anybody out there, any names out there, but a lot of Chicago cops come to us for their window tints for their personal cars,
Facts.
and a lot of them are definitely not
Yeah.
legal limit.
Actually, I don't mean to cut in front again, but
No, I
on that, the second darkest car we've ever done here at the Lombard shop since I've been here was I'm not going to name his name, but it was a Chicago police officer with an M3, a stealth, painted
Yeah.
M3. We did, it was
Frost.
Frost. It was 5% all the way around, and we did 20 on the windshield. I got it, even in the shop, I got in the car and I'm like, luckily you're a cop, because I
Yeah.
can't see shit out of this car.
Yeah, but even them, like, I am really good friends with a lot of Chicago cops,
Yeah.
and even for them, they have like an inspector in their employee parking lot that will like ticket them if they're
Really?
out of regulation.
That's funny.
I didn't know that.
So for a lot of the
Doesn't
people,
surprise me.
or at least just the general population out there, like the cops are held to the same standards as we are,
Yeah, I mean, they can't just put on whatever they
right?
want.
Just because they're a cop doesn't
Right.
mean they can get away with it.
That's
They still get
facts.
in trouble for it as well.
Yeah.
If the inspector is in the parking lot that day,
Yeah, that's
right? And we had, this guy. He's a Chicago cop. I think he's a detective now, but RS5.
Yep.
I think you know who he is.
Yep.
He's a Glenview customer. Super cool guy.
Yeah.
But
Good
he's the
man.
one that kind of told me about it. And he was just like, yeah, they're walking through the parking lot,
I'm surprised.
And he was worried about it at first when he first came to us. And I was like, hey, it's up to you, And then I had another guy that, in my previous life, before working here, I worked security with this guy. He just happened to go into law enforcement. And he came in one day out of nowhere. I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, what are you doing here? But he drove a Trackhawk. And he went 5% all sides and rear. I think I talked him into 35 on the front windshield.
Heck yeah.
Right, so,
Illegal.
highly illegal,
Very
but he
illegal.
is a Chicago police officer, and
Right.
he is a really nice guy.
Or is he?
Well,
That's what he wants you to think.
I think that's for a different podcast, but I can tell you about all the stories that we went through when we were doing security. We did hospital security, so we had to deal with all the psych patients,
Oh, jeez.
and there's some fun times there.
Yeah.
On that Trackhawk thing, though, if I had a Trackhawk, I'm going that dark.
Well, yeah,
On
you have
purpose.
to.
It's a
Yeah,
Trackhawk.
You kinda have to.
aesthetics,
You
yeah.
gotta go really dark.
No, with like aesthetics, like I always say, if you watch any car commercial, every single windshield's tinted on all those
Yeah,
car
you notice
commercials
that?
because that's what looks
looks
best.
good.
So
It looks
if you're
good.
going for looks,
And there's no front plate.
exactly, yeah,
exactly.
that's
the boom. Yep.
tell them not to drill through your bumper. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, it's you always see tinted front windshield in all those car commercials because that's what looks best. But
Does.
I'm not saying go and do it because it's not legal, but I have it on mine and I've never had any issues.
Yeah, and to answer like a lot of the, because I get this a lot too, is like, can window tint be removed? Yes, it absolutely
Absolutely.
can. It's a film. It can be removed.
Yep.
It's not like what Don was explaining earlier, like the factory glass being dyed.
Yeah.
Right. So if you decide to sell the car, or you're passing it down, or you got in trouble, yes, you can remove it. It's not hard. It's just time consuming is all it really is.
And we can remove film that's installed by a different installer. Obviously, we charge for that service, and it all depends on how long it takes the guys to get the film off. But we offer that service too, not just the cars we tinted.
Just imagine a really stubborn sticker that you left on your window for
Yep.
many, many
A
years
long, long time.
or many months. It's the same exact thing.
Yeah,
You're just
that's true.
pulling off a stubborn sticker.
I actually just removed my windshield tint off the Cayenne because I'm selling it today
Mhm.
or tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah, that was tough. Well, he wants to buy it before Christmas.
Christmas present?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
Nice.
I wish. But yeah, it was tough until Ruben helped and Jose. I didn't realize like there's a certain way you have to steam that, otherwise
yeah.
you leave glue.
Mm-hmm. There's.
And it was
And
good
you can
quality
damage the
tint.
interior stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can. Yeah.
Yeah, so they were helping me out, and I thought it'd be like so easy to do it myself because I know we talked about DIY with ceramic coatings, but yeah. Oh, I also tried tinting my Mustang by myself. That was terrible. I bought
It's not gonna work.
I bought a kit off Amazon. I'm like,
I'm
this will
guilty.
be easy, dude.
I bought the Walmart. What is it? Black Magic.
Yep.
From
yep,
Walmart?
Yeah.
No.
I've tried it in my younger days.
It's like just enough for your windows. It's
And this was before
no
I knew
extra.
anything about anything.
Yeah.
It was just, hey, I could do it. They sell it at Walmart. And I think I was driving a Prius at the time. It was like my high school car. I didn't know anything about shrinking the film. I didn't know anything about anything. Cleaning the windows, anything.
Actually, now that we're talking about that, don't try to remove your window tint yourself.
Yeah.
I had this happen last year where a customer came by. I told him, hey, it's $120 an hour for the removal. He's like, I'll be back in a couple hours. He tried to do it in our parking lot.
Dude.
And what happened was he left glue everywhere. We still had to charge him the hours of removal because we had to remove the glue.
That's really what we're charging
don't-
you for, is the removal of the glue.
Don't go pulling the film off yourself.
Yeah, the
Don't
film
do that.
itself comes off
So
relatively easy. It's
Right.
just, is there 10% of the glue on the window
Yeah,
or 90%
exactly.
of the glue?
let me rephrase that. You can try it yourself, but we're still going to charge you for removing the glue.
Yeah, and you could hurt your defroster
You
lines.
could also
remove
hurt your defroster
lines.
lines.
Don't
You
do
could
that.
also scratch your window if you're using a razor blade.
There's a lot of things you could mess up. Yep.
Hey, we are trained professionals.
Yep.
Let us do our jobs.
Yep.
That's right. Have you had anybody do that at Glenview?
No.
Or like say they pulled it off themselves or in their garage. You never had that happen?
Not really, no. No, they're
Good.
usually pretty understanding about it. But yeah, it going back to like the legality of it, usually if someone were to get pulled over, usually it's a, hey, get this removed and just show proof that it was
Right.
removed.
Right.
And, no harm, no foul.
Right.
So another question that we kind of get a lot is like, and we're kind of known, at least in the industry, so our opinion kind of matters for a lot of people. And people have noticed that we've switched window tint companies around.
Mhm.
Like, what do you guys think which window tint do you guys think is the best?
I think XPEL. I have that on my car, and I have no complaints. I love the clarity of it. Even, it's harder to tint older cars, and one of my trucks is literally 35 years old. Actually, this month, 35. And it went on totally fine. Clarity's great. I have zero complaints on that. But yeah, we're always, I think we said in a former podcast that we're always testing, every product, whether it be ceramic coatings or paint protection film or window tint. But the XPEL products that we're installing now are the bar.
For me, I've had a couple different films on my car, and I've seen different films on customers' cars, and yeah, Expel, really quality film, does what it says on the package, and also I like the hue. That's
Yep.
the thing.
That's gonna be
because
my thing.
Yeah.
We had I'll just name them. It doesn't matter. We tried GeoShield for a little bit over here at Chicago Auto Pros, and it was like.
We're gonna cut this out. Do you remember
Yeah,
that one
okay.
customer
I was gonna.
with the guy that called his tinter?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna leave
Tell me-
this out.
tell me about it.
He's so. I won't name the customer and I won't name the installer.
Edit it out.
It's like out in California, right?
But there's a guy in California that he used to get his window tints from, and
Okay.
he was out, and I would recommend him to do the same, get a second opinion.
Which is fine. That's fair.
But this window tinter calls us and starts asking about, like,
The installer called
Yeah,
you?
the installer
Oh,
called us.
shit.
Yeah.
Here we go.
and he's like, well,
Here
why
it
do you
goes.
guys do Expo? Why do you guys like Expo more?
All right.
You know, why
You're
did you
like,
guys get?
easy.
Why did you guys stop using it? This and that. This and that.
Oh, like that's like that, huh?
And like he was like a die-hard GeoShield guy.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
So
We'll fix this in editing here.
we'll fix this in editing.
It's fine. It's fine.
But that was like I think it was like a 2-day ordeal.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Like,
and he's
was
still a loyal customer.
I was gonna
There
say,
you go.
was the customer cool with you guys?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it was his buddy installer or like an installer?
No, that was his install. Like that was his
He
installer.
used to live out in California, and
I
that's
got
like
you, I got
all the
you.
cars that he had in the past were installed by that guy. And
Okay.
he called us like kind of ripping
Jeez.
Expo. And, like, dude,
Yeah.
like I'm not
Gee-
gonna change
Oh.
what film we
So back-
install because
back
of
to
what
what I
you
was
say.
saying, though.
Like,
Like I've seen different tints on cars, and Expel's color and quality is better than any film that we've
yeah,
had here.
color wise, yeah.
So I like the clarity,
Yeah,
and I like that it's a lot more of a charcoal hue.
that's it.
Yes.
It's gray.
And I'm gonna go back to the sunglass analogy.
Yeah.
I wear Oakleys, and I wear their prism polarized glasses,
Okay. Yep. I think I have a pair too.
and it's the clarity of it. And when it's like actual black or charcoal, it looks like actual black or charcoal.
Right.
Whereas some other window tint companies out there, you'll get like a brownish hue or like a greenish hue. And just from the inside looking out, I like the closer to gray or charcoal kind of tone when you're
Yeah.
looking out. It looks a lot more natural. I think it's a lot easier in the eyes.
I think it's better with the matching too.
nice.
A film we used to install kind of had more of a green hue to it.
Yeah.
And
They can.
we heard a lot of, I don't want to say complaints because they weren't necessarily complaints. It was
It's just more
like-
different preferences.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Like there's nothing wrong with it. I just prefer the darker hue.
and I think majority of
That's
people
it.
do too. That kind of more true charcoal black look as opposed to the more of a greenish hue, like you were saying with the Volkswagen.
Some
Yeah.
films have
Yeah.
some blue, some are a little brown. I'm not gonna name any names, or some green.
I
Yeah.
hate the brown.
I know, I don't like that either.
Yeah, and
But that's why we do Expel, because it's truly gray,
Yeah.
charcoal gray.
That's
and
why.
it does depend on the percentage you go with too. So like
True.
the
That is
dual
true.
layer ceramic, the XR Plus, in a lighter percentage, like that 80% you were saying,
Yeah.
is more blue than gray.
Now,
for
if you
sure.
have a Range Rover or an AMG,
Right.
from the factory, they kind of have a blue hue to it,
The
Yeah.
glass does.
which is
It's got
natural looking.
yeah.
Yeah.
G-Wagon, AMG
Kind of
S63.
like that purple. Like I see
Yep.
it on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could see it.
Yeah.
So is XR Plus 55%.
Yeah, a
That
little
has
bit.
some blue
little
to
bit.
it.
Yeah.
A little bit of blue to it.
Yeah.
So-
But if you go down to the XR, it's more.
55.
There's less ceramic, so there's less
exactly.
blue.
It's
That's
more true charcoal black.
And we have all these samples in the shop on the wall, so you could see kind of what percentage is best for you.
Yeah, and usually we have like our loaner car here too that has I love showing people that car because that's
too.
the legal limit too.
Yep.
So yeah, people like to see
So you
that
have 35 and 70?
one. 3570
Yeah, that's what we
XR
have.
Plus.
That's what we have on our loaner
I think
cars.
yeah, I
well.
think Ben
Same-
did that car
He
too.
probably did.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, it.
Smells good.
We can go on and on about window tint and why people want to do window tint,
Mm-hmm.
but it just really depends on who you are. Like
Yeah.
back in the day, it was there was the stigma of the drug dealer and the
course.
rapper,
Yeah.
and they're trying to hide
Yeah.
illegal things.
Right.
But now there's a lot more purpose behind it.
There is.
Like at least the XPEL that we offer is backed by the Skin Cancer Foundation.
Yep.
On that note, we did a Lexus GX. This is for a lady. She drove all the way from Kentucky to get to our shop, and we just did 70% all the way around on a brand new GX, on the sunroof, on the windshield, front two, rears. And honestly, you're looking at the car, it don't look much different.
It doesn't.
It
at all.
literally looked like there's a little bit of a hue to it. But now she had skin cancer.
Yep.
But now she's protected.
Yeah, it's that's a lot of the times why I recommend going with the XR Plus, just for it's good for you and it's good for the interior of your car. So like if you didn't have it, and you had something like sensitive skin like that, a lot of times people put like sunscreen on and then get into their car and then their seats are
Just
wrecked.
destroyed.
Yeah, so it's good for you, it's good for the car. Even if you don't want window tint, there's that 70% option like you put on hers, where it's not going to look like it's tinted at all, but you're going to get that heat rejection, UV ray protection.
That's why we did it.
benefit.
I got a good one. For you guys. I want you guys to think of the answer at the same time.
Okay.
And then I'll count down and you shout out the answer.
I got a good one for you too, actually. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Did I tell you about my friend who's addicted to brake fluid?
What?
It's okay. You can stop anytime.
Dude.
That's why people love Dom.
That is the most Dom shit
I'll
I've
be here
ever
all
heard,
week.
man.
I'll be here all week.
That is the most fucking Dom.
All
All right. So, window tint cleaner, because that's a question.
Yes.
What cleaner, if it is safe on my window tint?
Anything
wait for it.
ammonia
at the
free.
same time? Are we saying
Wait
it?
for it. Wait for it.
I already said it.
Okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything
Ammonia
ammonia free.
free.
But
Yeah,
do you
ammonia-free.
have a brand?
Yeah, I like G-Technic Perfect Glass because it's along the lines of the same.
It's
company
because
that we offer
Dan's
from Coors.
bougie.
Yeah.
Well, you don't
have to
invisible
use
glass is
That's
my
Invisible
go-to.
glass
Yeah,
or
that's the one.
spray away. I know
Spray
you guys
away,
have
yeah.
seen spray away
Yeah,
in
that's a
Walmart.
famous one.
So
Yep.
what's not safe? Like Windex?
Windex.
Windex,
Yeah, like
the blue
the
Windex.
blue original Windex with all the
So
ammonia
anything
in it.
blue.
Well,
Not
not
anything-
anything blue.
not
Anything. If it says that it's got ammonia in it, don't use it.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's too harsh.
And the reasoning behind it is because over time, the ammonia itself will start to eat away at the material.
Yep.
It's corrosive. So do not use anything with ammonia in it, and you will be fine.
Yep,
So
that's
if you're like me and you're nuts, like my sunglasses, if I've got fingerprints on my sunglasses, I start freaking
Yeah.
Oh,
out.
that bothers. I think that bothers the shit out of
Wait,
So-
if you have what?
Like fingerprints on your sunglasses.
Yeah.
Oh, that's yeah.
So I always have a bottle of like lens cleaner
Yeah.
in the car with it, or just around me, and that lens cleaner is just alcohol based,
Yeah.
which is what you would use for a window tint cleaner as well. You don't want to use anything with ammonia in it.
That's it. But yes, if you want to be bougie, shout out G-Technic.
Yeah, don't be bougie like
Shameless,
Dan.
shameless plug.
You don't always have to be bougie.
G-Technic Perfect Glass. It's good stuff.
Yeah, on the shelf in Glenview, there's a bunch of bottles of invisible glass. And
there you go.
it's pretty cheap, and it says right on it, tint safe.
Is that the one that foams up?
That's
Kinda.
spray away.
Oh, okay, that's spray
Yeah,
away. Okay, because I hear
a
about that
little
one a
bit
lot.
of foam? It's not like crazy.
It
bubbles a little
I
bit.
like the
Okay.
spray away because it works, and it's like $1 a can.
That's
Yeah,
a
it's
great price.
Dirt cheap, yeah.
Like and you can use it for more than just your window tint.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what Perfect Glass costs, but it's a lot more than
Yeah.
that. It's
So
probably
will-
$10 or $11.
So will ammonia like cause the tint to fade?
Yeah, it'll eat the
Kinda
material
turns
over time.
Purple
Damage
ish, yeah, discolor it.
So even good tint, it'll purple because
Oh,
of
yeah.
ammonia.
Even expel. Yep.
Doesn't matter what it's because
just
of
too
like
harsh
So why does cheap tint turn purple?
because it's cheap tint.
This is cheap too.
so it's really the why cheap tint will turn purple from what this is going to be knowledge that I heard many years ago, but it has something to do with the adhesives and the material or the layers in the film itself. So the adhesive and the materials in there will break down due to the UV,
Makes sense.
and
Yeah.
that's what it'll cause the discoloration. And the bubbling is obviously delamination. So
It's just bad adhesive.
it's just
Yeah.
bad adhesives.
Yep. There you go.
That's funny because I usually see both at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
You see
Yeah,
purpling and
Yeah,
bubbles.
True.
Huh. Got another joke, Dom?
No, that's
was a
all I
good
got.
one.
No,
That was- I've never
someone
heard that
told me
before.
that.
Well, I got
Ridiculous.
another one, and it'll kind of answer a lot of questions of whether window tint will help with astigmatisms. And me being somebody that has like a really bad astigmatism, I will say that it helps with the starbursting.
Mm-hmm.
So
Starbursting.
if you have an astigmatism and you look at light,
Okay.
it looks like a starburst.
Yeah.
Oh, it kind of.
Yeah,
Right.
like
For
flares.
me,
Yeah. Okay.
and I mentioned this earlier in the podcast, I did the 55 for a long time on my windshield. And it did help with the astigmatism and the glare, at least from oncoming traffic and headlights. But when I did go with the 35%, it almost eliminated it.
Yeah.
So now I just see headlights. I don't see the
glare.
the glare, right?
Huh.
And it definitely helps out in terms of, it doesn't cure the astigmatism, obviously, but it does ease it for me. And I've got a really bad astigmatism.
Do you think 70% XR Plus also helps with glare and?
It'll cut it down. Obviously, it's like a filter, right?
Yeah.
If you're taking a filter
Yeah.
with a photo, it's blocking the way that the light hits it. But the 35 just almost eliminated it for me.
So you went darker and it made a bigger difference. Okay.
I went darker because of the look,
Oh, sure. Yeah. Me
but
too.
the benefit is that it definitely cut down on the glare from oncoming traffic or just the traffic lights in general.
What do you have on your windshield right now? What percentage?
On that truck, 55.
Does it help with glare and?
Yeah,
Things like
it
that?
definitely does. A good example with the 55 actually is my dad has, he wears glasses, not great eyes. But I did his two front windows, and I didn't tell him I did the windshield too in 55.
Okay.
And he didn't even notice until, like, looks-wise, he didn't notice until, like, an overcast day he walked out. He's like, this looks a lot darker.
It's like you got some. Tint.
Yeah, but he's like, and then he was like, oh, it looks good. Like, I can't really tell. And then he started, once he sold that truck, he drove my mom's car. It has no window tint for a couple days, and he's like, yeah, no, this is.
That ain't it.
Yeah,
He's
I want
like,
to preface
I
too.
cannot stand this.
That
Like,
ain't it.
Like,
So-
I don't ever recommend anything darker than 55 to customers.
Yeah. Right,
that's
unless
facts.
they know what they're getting themselves into.
If you've had
Yeah.
tint on your car before and you're used to dark windows, for sure. But if it's your first car getting tinted, go
like
do
55
on a
is
windshield.
probably the darkest that you should go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
enough.
agree.
Yep.
yeah, I think it depends on the car too. Sometimes, like that was on a truck too. That was a Sierra, so it's a little bigger windshield. So and it sits up higher, so it just kind of blends in a little bit better.
That's fair. Yeah, that's
But yeah, that's. I don't know if we'll get to this, like the downsides of window tint, but that's the downside is like once you have it, there's like no going back.
You are in
It's a
for
total
life.
rabbit hole.
fair. You're in
like-
for life.
You're spoiled after that.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
I
in
have
for
to-
life.
Especially if you get a heat blocking film,
yeah. Oh yeah.
That's it.
you're spoiled.
You're in.
Yeah,
Yep.
I have to factor in the cost of window tint
That's a
with
good
every
point.
vehicle that I buy.
Yep. So do I.
Buy and sell them all the time.
I
So
think the
it's-
longest that my car goes without window tint is like a week.
That'd be,
Yeah, literally.
That's
yeah.
max.
That's
Max.
yeah. Our family friends do the same. They come to us every time they get a car.
The day
before they pick up the car, they're like, "Hey, we're gonna go pick this up. Like, can we get on the books for Monday?" Like,
The day I bought my Accord, I brought it right here. Same day. So we did tint like the next day.
I think the GR is an exception just because for a lot of people for our legacy customers, they know that I don't just live in Chicago anymore. So I commute between here and Houston.
every day.
Like 6 months out of the year.
He doesn't sleep. That's his night.
But when the GR, I actually bought it in Louisiana because at the time that I bought it, there was some crazy markups that need to go away. But I bought it for pretty much MSRP and was waiting to bring it down here to get it tinted.
Ah, okay, that's different.
But I couldn't. But what I did was I went to XPEL of Houston
I remember you telling me that.
and pretty much did the same thing, you
Same
know,
thing.
and they were a trusted shop.
Yeah, of
You
course.
know, I know the guys over there, so I was like, all right, I'll just do it here. I didn't get an employee discount or anything. I paid full price just like anybody else would.
Because you got to have it.
And
You need
I had to have it,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
living in Texas,
Yeah,
too.
you're down there. Yeah. Of
Like,
course.
I remember I took my wife grocery shopping in the GR, and we were just like, we cannot do this.
all
Yeah.
clear, just
It-
all
we
clear
just-
glass.
It was just one day of it, and we were like, we
Yeah,
cannot
no,
do this.
yeah.
I cannot wait.
Shifter is just hot as shit.
yeah.
And
it's the
frying
heat. It's
egg
the
in
heat,
there.
and then how bright it is.
Yeah,
You get in the car, and you're like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Now I
Jeez,
get into a
man.
car without windshield tint, I feel like a vampire.
yeah,
Like, the light.
Yeah, it's too
Exactly.
much.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
But so that you could say would be a downside, because once you get quality tint, then every single car in your future,
yeah.
you're gonna have to have it.
There's,
because
there's
it's
no
nice.
going back.
There's no
yeah.
exception.
Because it's nice.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But
So we don't do this, but we might have tried it. But this is another frequently asked question is, can window tint be used on headlights?
It can. I'm not going to say no.
You see the
I'm gonna
Subaru
say that we prefer not to do it because, again, going back to quality, like it's not good for longevity at all.
It's designed to go on glass.
Yes,
Not plastic.
it's well, and another thing is window tint is installed on the inside of the glass.
Yeah.
so
Not
it's
the
not
outside,
really exposed to the elements.
That's a
Yeah.
That's a fair
They
point.
have paint protection film that is shaded that you can do for that. With that being said, headlights and taillights are very intricate. So
yeah, they're not a flat piece of
like
glass.
an
Yeah.
X5 taillight.
Of course.
is
depending
all
on
cut
what
out
headlight
and-
or taillight you have, you can do it with a quality material.
A tinted PPF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like let's say a 996 I think is
Yeah.
what it is. It's a
Yep.
pretty flat headlight.
Sorry, it's Ryan.
So
Damn it.
God damn it, Ryan.
You said 996 headlight?
Yeah.
Is that the blob? The
blob
egg?
eye,
The egg?
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty
the
flat
runny
headlight.
egg? Yeah, that one.
You could do that
pretty
no
easy,
problem.
Yeah.
Would you do it? I don't recommend it. I don't like the look of it.
Yeah.
To each their own.
Yeah.
That's a personal
I'll do
preference
it if
thing.
you want it, but it doesn't look the best. And it does cut down on light transmission.
Yeah, that's a true. That's a
So
fact,
if you
yeah.
still have halogen bulbs, it's probably not
You're
the
not gonna
best for
see
you.
shit.
No,
Yeah,
no,
you're gonna
no.
be blocked. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you want to be hot boy and show car and stanza all that, like I get the look. I
I understand.
was
it.
guilty of it, right?
Yeah.
It's a nice thing to have. Is it necessary? No. It
No.
depends on. It's all purpose. So if it's a show car, okay, all for it.
Yeah.
But it does cut down on light transmission depending on how dark you go.
To me, like what we do with my car, I like the way my headlights look. They're kind of like the jewelry, so we just did clear PPF to protect them from rock chips.
Yeah.
Not any tinted stuff.
Yeah, like if you really want to like go crazy with headlights, like spend the money and like there's guys who do like retrofitting and
I've
they'll
seen
like
that
take them
stuff.
apart and paint them and
Heck
like
yeah.
it looks badass.
Yeah, I think that
but-
looks way
that
better.
is
than
awesome.
Yeah, like spend the money and do it that way.
Right.
Obviously we don't do that, but
Nope.
yeah, I mean that's quality as opposed to just slap it on. And,
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I've told people too when they're about to make a stupid decision.
Sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
Like there was this one
You know?
person that was requesting like pink tint on their headlights, and I was like, you don't want to do that.
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not here to tell you how to spend your money, but I will tell you as a car guy, you're gonna regret that decision later down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, facts.
So after that, they decided to do the smoke headlight tint that we had,
There
and
you
they
go.
ended up liking it a lot better.
Yeah.
Right? The pink whatever that they were gonna do was like a super cheap material. Like
Yeah.
it would have just been nothing but nightmares for it.
I will say, when
and
it
you
comes,
spend like $100,000 on a car, like don't put that stuff on.
I
there.
Yeah.
will say though, a cool option that a lot of people, at least in Lombard, are going with is blacking out the reflectors.
That's a big thing.
It depends on the
everywhere.
car.
Yeah,
Depends
yeah.
on the car. You know what I mean? But we did a TRX where we just blacked out headlights, taillights,
Yeah.
reflectors, all the orange and red, and
Yep.
that came out.
Like for
Yeah,
me
that
being a
looks
good. Came
JDM
out
car guy, like I like all the JDM stuff.
Sure.
I need the clear lenses.
Yeah.
See,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
or like a 911. The
Yeah.
new 911, that's the vibe.
Yeah.
Clear
On those
turn
corners,
signals.
yeah.
So nice.
Yeah, that's what I did on.
So there's better options.
Yeah.
To
There-
put it- to
there's
put it
way
simply,
better
there's
options
better
out there.
options.
I'll let you do what you need to do or make the mistakes you need to make,
Right.
but I don't want to be the one that didn't say anything about it.
Yeah.
What would you say is a downside to window tint?
I think a big downside is there is that stigma that's still out there.
Sure.
That if you have dark window tint, like you're up to no good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it's not necessarily the case at all. Right?
No.
I think that's the biggest thing. And I understand both sides of the window tint argument of like one, safety for law enforcement officers, but it's
Sure.
also like, hey, why are we letting this certain group of individuals ruin it for everybody else in the world?
Right. Right.
Right? Because it is really nice to have.
It is a
Yeah.
great thing to have,
It-
and you don't have to go that dark.
No, you don't.
That's
But if you do want to go dark,
You know what I mean?
who's to
Dark.
tell me I can't go dark?
Yeah. Right.
Right? And like I said, not legal advice. Don't do what I do.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's
Or us.
it's super nice to have.
Yeah. it
Right?
is great.
I don't have to squint anymore. If I forget my sunglasses, it's fine, right? Because the car is shaded enough.
Yeah.
I don't have headlights blinding me in oncoming traffic, which I think would probably be more dangerous
True.
if I wanted to make an argument. But it's just super. It's a very luxurious thing to have.
What would you say is a downside?
Other than the rabbit hole,
Where you're stuck?
yeah, where
fair.
once you do it once, you're gonna do it on every car
That's
you buy.
a fact. That's a fact.
If you go real dark, obviously everyone's eyes are different.
True.
So like, the 5 it's dark for me, but like you can manage it.
Yeah.
Like you just gotta kind of get used to it. But for someone else, like my dad, he despised
He would
driving
take it
that
off.
truck.
He
Yeah.
would take
Oh
the
yeah.
film
No.
off. Yeah,
he
exactly.
he drove with me in the one that was super dark from Texas, and he was like, "This sucks."
This
He
is
like
terrible.
couldn't
And I'm sure
stand
as
it.
I get older, my preferences are going to change.
Yeah.
You might lighten up.
Yeah, like I used to straight pipe all my stuff.
Where's that on the
We're
brake
here all
fluid
week,
joke
folks.
Yeah,
here?
see that? He's gonna lighten up.
Yeah, lighten up. It probably will as I get older because my eyesight is
a
it's going
fact.
to get
Yeah,
bad.
It's a fact, yeah.
But same with like exhaust. Like I used to straight pipe every single car
Yeah.
just cause
Kids, don't straight pipe your cars.
Oh.
it's
Huge thing.
If any people are listening, don't do that.
Can you guys explain what shaved edges are? Because a lot of people don't
yeah.
get what that is.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's so a lot of times when you see like the cheap easy installs where they just like they'll plot it out on a big
They might not even know
printer.
what plot means.
So a big printer, you type in 2022
21. whatever.
21 Honda Accord
2.0.
and 2.0
2.0 turbo.
specifically 2.0 and it'll come out with the entire window, and they'll just plot it out, put it on, and when you roll down the windows you can see like a little gap of light. Just because it's not properly lined up. The way we do it, it's plot out but on like a little bit of a bigger scale, so they go slightly past that edge, and then they'll take like a file, like a very fine file, and just shave it. So that way it goes like as far up as possible to that edge, so it looks like a totally factory install. There's no gaps of light anywhere. It is as factory as possible. And
So-
especially if you have like frameless doors, like on Tesla's.
Mustangs.
Yeah,
Coupes,
Mustang, yeah,
any
yeah,
coupe in
so-
general.
The reason why I say Tesla is we had a customer in Glenview, and he was like, "This is the only reason why." Well, not the only reason why I come to you guys, but the main reason why I come to you guys is because you do this. When I open my doors, it looks like this is
It's
a
right
factory
up to the edge.
install. Yeah, and it's kind of hard to explain exactly what it looks like without like showing someone. But he's like, yeah, this is why I come to you guys, because you guys go above and beyond shaving this edge so it's as like factory as possible.
And I've definitely heard film being ripped off because the shaving wasn't done right either.
Yep.
Yeah. Can happen.
I think it's like absolutely necessary for frameless, but we
Oh,
do it
yeah.
for every car, right?
Yeah, we do it for every single car.
yeah.
Yep.
Frameless, it's
Mandatory.
It takes a little bit more
huge.
time. It definitely takes a lot more time.
Oh, yeah.
I would say it takes a lot more time to line it up and make sure it's done right. But that's like what I mentioned earlier. We don't do that many cars because
Right.
we're making sure every single car that comes through here
Yeah.
is done the right way that we want it to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shops that are kicking out 20 cars a day, they ain't got time.
No, they
Well,
don't.
you know,
Shade in
it's-
the glass. They're just
it's-
spinning cars out.
McDonald's makes the most burgers, but
Bingo.
that doesn't mean they're the best burgers.
That's-
You know,
that's a fact.
Like,
That's a
That's
fact.
that's how I've always looked at it.
True.
But yeah, we've posted like pictures of Ruben shaving
Yeah.
the edges, you know what I mean, on
Yeah.
Instagram.
I just wanted to
things like that.
clarify
Sure.
for some of our people out there.
course.
Because I've seen some comments like, why are you guys shaving those?
That's fair.
Because it looks the best. It's not the industry standard. Like, don't get us wrong.
No.
Most shops out there won't be doing that.
I don't think so. No.
But we
I've
do because
never
it
seen a
looks
shop
best.
that does that.
Yeah.
It looks the best. So I'll go back to my GR that I didn't get done here.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't shave the edges. But they got it up as close to the edge as possible. And me being me and nitpicking and kind of knowing how we do things. Is it the way that we would install it? No. Is it passable for most people out there? Yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right. It's just that little extra 10% that we do for each car that just makes a huge difference.
I don't like window tint jobs that aren't shaven because you have the light gap and then there's a line you can feel with your finger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The edge of the film.
You get paranoid.
I don't like
Yeah,
that. You know what I mean?
like if you were to run your thumb across
It'll
like a frameless window or any window here, you can't. It feels like a
It
regular
feels like the
window.
glass,
It doesn't feel
yeah.
like you'd catch a little edge.
And I think that edge will catch fibers from microfiber towels, dirt, things like
Eventually.
that. You wanna spend the extra time.
And if you're rolling
It's-
your window up and down so much, it'll catch on the weather seals eventually.
Eventually, yeah, you're gonna peel.
And it's the same thing on the bottom too.
Yeah.
So like usually they'll pop out the seal on the
Right.
bottom
And
and
they
then cut it below that. So that way, you know, when you're rolling it up and down, there's nothing for it to catch on, just
Right.
because it's just sliding even on it as opposed to like catching on it.
Catching,
And then
right,
eventually one day it's just gonna right
all
up.
peel.
You know.
On that topic, if you want to get into super quick, because we're running out of time, but
Yep.
top load versus bottom load, because I don't think we've ever explained this to
I
the
think
customer.
you got to get Ben on here. For
Yeah, this is definitely
that's-
going to be
that's-
more
That's an
for the installer side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Top load is definitely more efficient.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot faster, and you can definitely crank out way more cars. Whereas bottom load, it takes a much longer time to install. There's a lot more into it. There's a lot more prep work involved, but you get a much better end result.
Ruben, Jose, Ben.
They all do bottom load.
And-
They refuse to do top load.
There's
They-
some
they can
cars that
explain
you
why,
have
too.
to do. You have to top load, I believe.
Some cars you have to.
Yeah, like I think like the like S550 Mercedes,
Oh,
like those
okay.
top of the line Mercedes and
AMGs.
yeah, stuff like that. I think you have to. It's just because of how they are. I think like Lucids are kind of like that too.
Yeah,
maybe.
and
fair.
some cars, is it worth the risk of damage
to try and
remove something that you
Oh
shouldn't
yeah,
be
no,
removing?
not.
yeah, it's,
Probably not.
25 S580. Yeah, I'm not taking apart that door panel.
Yeah,
and-
which is fair.
Yeah, there's some things that you can get away with, but majority of the times we are bottom loading, and it's because we can prep it so much better.
Yeah.
Because if you're top loading it, think of it this way: you're essentially leaving the weather seal in,
Yep.
where dirt and dust build up.
You don't
So
know
if
what's
you're-
there.
Loading, you don't know what's in there, and you load the film in. The guys are gonna have to roll the window down every now and then to do the install.
Yeah.
And all of that contaminant is just getting into the film.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll get caught.
Yep.
Makes sense.
So why deal with that when we can eliminate all of that? Just take a little bit more time
Yeah,
and do it the way that we want to do it.
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's all I had on that stuff.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean we do things the way that we do here because of the way that we want them to turn out,
Right.
and we don't care what anybody else says about efficiency or anything of that nature.
Right.
It's we're going to treat your car the way that we want our cars to be treated.
yeah.
Yep.
Right. And it depends on who you are. And if you're that type of person, then we're probably the best shop for you.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
I mean, I'm not bringing my car anywhere else.
Yeah.
Not since I've seen what we've done.
It's
Yeah,
the
and
same
it's-
thing. Like you get spoiled.
Yeah.
it's
true.
I will say, like, working here, the like worst part is the fact that like going to car shows now like sucks because
yeah,
it's
that's-
like
Oh
it's like you
there's
get
that.
like a brand new like
Yeah.
or not like brand new, but you get like show quality cars,
Yep.
and I'm like looking at it like, oh, this could be corrected out. Like maybe that window tint's not cut all the way up. Like
Yep.
you know, it's kind of ruined car shows in that sense
That is a fair
because
point.
like now the OCD is like
I think it's
dialed
ruined.
in. Like
I think we're kind of guilty of it, but we get customers that like move to other states and they're looking for other shops to work on their stuff.
Oh yeah.
And because they're so used to the way that we do things, they think that's the norm.
Yep.
No.
Of course.
You
That happens a
know?
lot.
So Mr. Stone, I won't say his first name, but Mr. Stone was a very good customer of ours who now lives in LA. If you're listening to this, Mr. Stone, I hope you're doing well. But he was one of my favorite customers, and he was super particular. It wasn't in any asshole type of way, but he was very particular,
That's
like
fine,
most
yeah.
of our
which is
customers
good,
are.
yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
And he was just calling around, he would call us like, hey, do you know any shops out here that do what we do?
We get a lot of those questions.
Yeah.
At least I do. I hear that.
And
quite often.
I can suggest him to people in our network of stuff that we do, right? So like we're a Modesta shop, we're a G-Technic shop, we're an Expel shop. Like, hey, you can try these people, because one, we had to get certified just like them.
True.
I can't guarantee it'll be great, but
They're accredited.
they're
Yeah,
accredited
right,
and they're certified. And the
It's a
answer
start.
I always hear is that they're just not like you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is. Yeah. Yeah.
It's the roughest thing for them because they feel lost. They don't know what to do with their cars.
Yeah.
Based on what you were saying though, when you see a car that is perfect, it stands out more
Oh,
now.
yeah. Oh,
like at
yeah,
a car
big
show,
time.
you'll
Yeah.
be walking around, you'll see one, you're like,
Yeah, who did
Damn.
that?
It's like,
Who
you know,
worked on that car?
You
Yeah.
ever seen the movie Limitless? You
Yeah,
know,
oh, yeah,
like,
of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
of course.
the whole world just opens up. You know, that's how it is now. Like once you start seeing those things and really noticing them, it's all you can notice. And yeah, when you see one that doesn't have that, you're like, wow, okay.
We went to Stratz last night. It was their last night that they were open. the
I'm
little
glad
drive-thru.
they still do it.
I went and there was like a 2003, 2004 Evo, a yellow one, bone stock, mint.
Yeah.
And to me, all the other cars that were there, I focused on that.
See, as I mature as a
dent.
car guy,
Perfect. I was like,
the more I appreciate that.
yeah.
Like
Perfect.
wide body Fiesta ST, slammed big wheels STI that I had. Like the GR is the most conservative car that I've ever had.
You just got coils,
I
wheels.
got wheels, coilovers, and exhaust,
That's perfect.
and I don't have crazy sticking out wheels. Like everything looks the way it should. As I mature, my cars are becoming less and less crazy.
Stock
Yeah.
plus.
Yeah,
Factory-
OEM
Yeah,
Plus
exactly.
is
OEM
really
Plus.
what it looks like.
That's what you want. Yeah.
That's
that's
like
where
in
it
the
is.
truck, like trucks I've had in the past had like big wide wheels,
Huge
and, you know, stuff like
exhaust.
that. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
no, the exhaust is cool, but
It definitely is.
the depending on the truck, but
True.
yeah, the big,
Facts.
you know, chrome wheels. And
Okay,
now
yeah.
now I've noticed that it's like stocks and the term is stocks and graps is the way to go. Mud grapplers, but
Got your tires, yeah.
I think that
You ever have a
looks
smokestack?
better. You've had
Yeah, I've
Grapplers?
had grapplers.
yeah. They're
And on
loud
that,
as shit.
They're loud as shit. So are
That's a
the
downside.
the wheels that I have on.
But it
now.
looks way better though. Like stock wheel, big tire, awesome.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
Coopers I have on the 4Runner now are really loud, but on that they also kick up a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
Mm.
which will lead into our next episode about paint protection film here.
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
could talk for a while on that one too. Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're just about out of time.
I think we answered
yeah,
frequently asked questions.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll get more in depth. We'll bring installers and techs in.
Heck yeah,
Yeah.
you sit
That's
down,
gonna
Ruben
be-
or Ben,
Yeah.
or Jose, you'll be.
Yeah.
Kirby doesn't talk much. But
Good.
yeah, that's
That's all you get out of them. Is
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so your bottom low. Yeah.
All right, so
It's good.
Yep.
It's good.
so at least for the next episode for paint protection film, stay tuned with us and check us in the next episode here.
Good.
Thanks,
Out.
guys.
See ya.